With the release of Superman, James Gunn now has 5 comic book films in his filmography, so let's rank all of them. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. Superman is James Gunn's newest comic book film. This was my most anticipated movie of the year and it absolutely lived up to the hype. So today I'm going to give you my ranking of all 5 James Gunn comic book movies. I am not including his first 2 movies that were not comic book films, and I'm not including any of his TV shows or the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. This is just his feature-length movies. Coming in 5th place for me is The Suicide Squad. Now, I really enjoy every single one of these movies. None of them are bad. One of them had to come in last, and for me that is The Suicide Squad. It just happens to be the one that I think about the least, but it is absolutely amazing. I love this movie. I love what James Gunn did. This is James Gunn doing what James Gunn does best. He takes a group of ragtag misfit characters that on paper absolutely should not work together. None of them really have any chemistry with each other to begin with. They're all trying to one-up each other. They're really just all a bunch of total assholes to begin with. And somehow James Gunn makes it work, and he makes them into a family that we root for, that we want to see win, and that all kick a ton of ass by the end. And it is awesome to watch. I love this movie. I love that James Gunn goes for it with the violence, the language. He's got that R rating, and it gives this movie so much style. It has everything you want from a James Gunn film. It's got the hilarious humor. It's got the pop song needle drops, and it just looks very comic booky, and it's all awesome. Number 4 for me is his newest film, Superman. If you saw my review, you know that I absolutely loved this movie. Like I said at the beginning, this was my most anticipated movie of 2025. And it absolutely lived up to the hype. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I think it will stay that way, and it's really a movie that I like more, the more that I think about it. Every day that I think about this movie, I like it a little bit more. I've been listening to the soundtrack constantly on a repeat. It's just all looks awesome. David Cornsweet is great as Superman. He's just a very hopeful Superman that has the presence, and it's got that kind of bright nature that Superman should have. James Gunn really understands this character, and his writing in this movie is really great. I really like what James Gunn did with writing Superman's character in this movie and making it not only an external conflict with Lex Luthor, of course, but really giving him more of an internal conflict. He's kind of figuring out who he is. There's a major kind of crisis that happens with his character that causes him and really the entire world to question why he was sent to Earth, who his biological parents really were, who he is as a character. And I don't want to say too much for spoiler reasons, but it really all worked really well for me, and I can't wait to see this movie again. 3rd place for me is Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember seeing this movie in theaters when it came out back in 2014 as a kid, and I remember walking into the theater with a smile on my face and just saying that was awesome. I loved that. This is such a great team-up origin story, and similar to The Suicide Squad, James Gunn takes a bunch of characters that don't work at the beginning, that could not be more different from one another, and he makes them work. He gives them chemistry. He gives them all flaws that make us believe in them, that make us care for them, and by the end, we cannot wait to see them take down the big bad. All of the really colorful space elements work really well here. It's really kind of different than anything we had seen in a space movie before that, and I absolutely love it. The humor all works great. The soundtrack is incredible, and overall, this is one of my favorite MCU movies. My runner-up could have been number one, and a lot of the times when I think about my overall MCU ranking, I do consider putting it above my number one because I just love it so much. But my runner-up as of right now is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I do believe this movie is better than the first. I can see why some people wouldn't think that. I can see why some people would prefer the first one, but for me, this movie just hits on all levels every single time I watch it. Emotionally, the action is awesome. The humor is arguably better than the first, and the soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack in the entire MCU. All of the songs are incredible. Again, like I've said a couple of times, I listen to these songs on repeat, on a loop, all the time. They're awesome, and there are just several moments in this movie that are some of my favorite moments in the entire MCU, and of course in this trilogy. A couple standouts that I'll talk about. I love the arrow scene with Yondu and Rocket. Yondu, the arrows zooming around, killing all the guards, come a little bit closer, is playing in the background. James Gunn understands how to use slow motion, and it's all awesome. The visuals are awesome. And the other moment that really gets me every single time is Yondu's funeral. All of the ships blowing up to create fireworks. Father and Son by Cat Stevens is playing, and it's just a really fantastic emotional ending that just never fails to get me. But my number one, my favorite James Gunn comic book film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This was such a perfect ending to this trilogy. Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite trilogy in the entire MCU. It's probably one of my favorite movie trilogies, period. I love all three movies so much, and I thought this was the best way to end all of these characters' stories. They all get closure in a great way. They're all going their separate paths, which is a little bit sad, yeah, but at the same time, it does work. They all need to find out who they are on their own. And just like with the other two movies, the soundtrack, the cinematography, the action, the visuals all works so well. James Gunn puts so much heart into these characters. His writing is brilliant, and that's one of the things that I love about his movies. And specifically with this movie, we learn so much more about Rocket, go into his backstory. There's a lot of emotional depth there. The High Evolutionary is a despicable villain that you hate right from the first moment he's on screen, and you cannot wait to see him get taken down. And everything about this movie works. It is one of my favorite movies in the MCU, and it is my favorite James Gunn film. So there you have it. That is my ranking of all 5 James Gunn comic book movies. What is your ranking of these movies? Let me know down in the comments below. And I got a few other DC videos coming out pretty soon, so stay tuned for those. And until then, subscribe to my channel, help me reach my goal of 400 subscribers, and keep watching movies.